Tonight, we spend the entire show talking with the president of East Baton Rouge Parish and the mayor of the city of Baton Rouge, the Honorable Sharon Weston Broome, who's here with us on set. How are you, Mayor?
I'm doing great.
So much is going on in Baton Rouge and a lot of things to talk about. Some stories broke this week. One included a vote by the city council to, for the lack of a better description, criminalize homelessness. And those are my words, not yours. The ordinance passed on a 7-5 vote, and it would make it illegal to camp on public property. And the original version of the bill or the item had them being arrested. And that was taken out, but what's left is a fine of up to $250. So when I originally saw the story, I'm thinking, I don't know that criminalizing homelessness is the best way we could go about interacting with people who may or may not be down on their luck. And if they had the $250, they probably wouldn't be sleeping under the interstate. Just my take on it. But what is your impression? You were quoted as saying we have to be more strategic about addressing this. What's your take?
Listen, homelessness is a very complex problem. I believe that the council members who authored this legislation were certainly responding to the calls that they get, the emails from their constituents. I understand because I get those same emails, I get those same phone calls. And so it was a response to a very complex issue. I don't think it is the response that will help us mitigate the issue. I believe that when we look at homelessness, we have to, as I said, consider that it's a very complex problem, and we have to look at it strategically. And as you said, we can't criminalize the homeless. Listen, there are a lot of different categories of people who are homeless. So we're dealing with, let's just say, veterans who are homeless. We're dealing with people who have mental health issues. Addictions. We're dealing with families who may be down financially who are homeless. So we have to look at the different categories of homeless people and then continue, because we've been working on this for years, craft a response. For example, we have a hot team that goes out to those encampments, and the hot team is made up of law enforcement, it's made up of mental health professionals, social workers, and so our goal is to move those individuals from the encampment to some type of housing or respond with whatever their need may be at that time. And it is taking certainly longer than constituents would like for it to take, but I believe that one positive situation that has emerged out of this whole ordinance and conversation around the encampments and homelessness is that it has put a spotlight on the need for more collaboration, whether it's with our healthcare systems, our mental health systems, whether it's with our social systems, working with our nonprofits, which is what we do in our approach to addressing homelessness. But you can't wave a wand and think it's going to go away. And listen, people say, well, what's going on in Baton Rouge? This is an emerging issue. Visit some other cities in America.
Listen, I remember being
and you'll really see what homelessness
move
looks
around
like.
a lot, and everywhere from Washington, D.C. I remember being in San Diego a couple of years ago downtown, and imagine like a Davis Roar Plaza that we have. It was filled, this area, with homeless people, and there was law enforcement officers out there to keep it from becoming a problem. It is a national issue. I think we have, I read that we have 200 beds or 200 shelters, spaces available, and over 600 people who are out there counted as homeless. How do we get more funding to be able to maybe expand shelters or spaces for people who are in this condition?
Well, certainly we have to develop some additional relationships that can help us with that, whether it's our state relationships, which certainly are an integral part of this, what we describe as continuum of care, but it also includes perhaps some private partnerships that emerge from the nonprofit community. But the overall response, Clay, has to be one of intentionality. It has to be strategic. And then I believe we will start to see the needle move as it relates to these encampments and homelessness. Listen, I understand the frustrations
Yeah.
that constituents have when they talk about what they see and how it impacts their community, which I get that, and we want to help with that, but we have to take a compassionate approach,
Yeah.
because these are still human beings that we're dealing with.
And I get it. I get it. People don't want to see the homelessness.
Right.
They don't like the panhandling and all of that. But, you know, I don't know. I was uncomfortable with this way of going about it. And I don't think it represents the best intention of who we want to be as a city. We want to take a quick break and come back with the mayor. Talk a little bit about public safety. We'll get an update from Mayor President Broome on what's happening with Move BR and how they're addressing blight here in the city. Back with Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome in just a moment. Continuing our conversation with Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome, we talked about a couple of stories that broke this week. The first was the ordinance about homeless. The second was the termination of a now former Baton Rouge police officer, Donald Steele Jr., who was arrested. And people have seen the details of this, accused of pulling a young woman over and having her follow him to an isolated area and allegedly assaulting her. Obviously, being Mayor President and being here with us, I wanted to get your position on that right now.
Well, of course, that's unacceptable behavior for anyone, but especially those that are leaders in our community, our public servants. You know, we've been working real hard, Clay, as you know, since I've been in office to close the gap between what has happened with our law enforcement and our community. And we're making progress in that area. But certainly his behavior, if indeed found guilty of this, I know there is an indictment, certainly does not represent the best of the Baton Rouge Police Department. But it is unacceptable, and we want a police representation, which I believe the majority of our officers are, which certainly have care and concern and integrity when it comes to being involved in our community and being leaders in their own right as law enforcement.
You know, it's interesting. You receive so much criticism about your position on BRPD and whether or not you support your officers. And we've talked about this before. And, you know, recently there was a pay raise. We'll get into that in a little while. And there have been a number of accommodations and awards the department has won. What's your response to the criticism that you don't support your police department?
Well, I feel like the criticism is certainly unmerited, not deserved. But, you know, I understand when you're a leader, you get a lot of criticism that's not deserved. But because, you know, the police department is part of the fabric of service for the city of Baton Rouge. I have demonstrated time and time again through my actions, not just lip service, my support for the Baton Rouge Police Department. I've done it through giving a 13% raise to our officers, 6% last year and 7% now. I've done it by going out to our departments and supporting and congratulating them and doing what I can in terms of making sure they have the tools to be the best department that they can be. But we all have to take a close look and evaluate, are there room for improvements in the areas in which we serve? And so when we recognize there's an area for improvement, when you're trying to change a culture so that we can have a top-notch police department, there will be resistance. But any narrative that says I'm anti-police is not true.
Let's talk about public safety here. That's always a big topic of conversation, and it's a national conversation right now. And get an update on what's happening here as it relates to the safety of your residents.
Well, Clay, I believe certainly that we're taking a three-pronged approach. And that approach involves law enforcement, it involves community involvement in this process, and it also involves mental health. Because a lot of what we're seeing as it relates to crime is very connected to mental health issues. And we need the community, and we've seen some success with the community working. We have community interventionists who help and who are boots on the ground to help prevent and help respond. And then we have our police officers, which I believe are demonstrating a community policing, a good community policing model, certainly an improvement over the past 6 or 7 years. And so we're going to continue to put resources in terms of our department, making sure that they have what they need, making sure our officers have, what they need, and also empowering our community to be, as we use a term often, resident leaders in their community to help us mitigate and address these issues. And we're also going to make sure that we elevate a mental health response, because we feel that that is very needed. I don't want people, Clay, to be fearful in our community. Our numbers, if you look at the statistics, our numbers in terms of homicides, our numbers are going down. And so I believe that we're seeing, and we will look at the data at the end of the year, but we're seeing, as we look at mid-year improvements, we're seeing our work being effective. Summer of Hope, our 8-week program, folks out in the community, every week with activities, with conversations, with fellowship. And I believe that that certainly helped mitigate what often happens when you have youth out during the summer. It helps mitigate some issues there.
Well, I want to continue and talk a little bit about the Summer of Hope, because we're getting on the back end of summer, and then what's happening with Move BR. Talking with Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome, back in just a moment. Back with Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome, and you were talking about the Summer of Hope going into break. And for people who weren't keeping up with that, because the summer has people moving around, what is/was the Summer of Hope?
So Summer of Hope was an 8-week initiative that we started when our children began to exit school, because we wanted to use this as an opportunity to certainly have neighborhoods engage with conversations, with activities, and fellowship, if you will, food, music, and it worked. We saw that we connected with over 300 individuals, but we had probably thousands of people that stopped by these activities that we had. And I believe the numbers and the data will show the outcomes were indeed positive. I believe it's directly connected to the numbers that we're seeing in terms of reduction in some of our violent crimes as well.
Because you're giving the young people something to do, which is at the crux of why crime is bad during the summer. It spikes.
And that, in conjunction with our mayor's youth workforce experience, where we put young people to work all across the city, about 500 young people, certainly made an impact as well. And the truth be told, we're thinking about extending
Through the end of the year?
Through at least through Labor Day in September,
Yeah.
because we've had such a positive response that folks are saying we need to keep this
Keep the
going.
activities going. I love that. Let's talk about Move BR. And Kyle, if you put that graphic up, this is a big infrastructure thing for Baton Rouge, an initiative that started some time ago. And you can see on the screen some of what Move BR is hoping to accomplish, an investment of more than $1 billion to help reduce traffic and build sidewalks and manage traffic signals and do so many other things here across the parish. Where is the progress right now?
Well, you see a big smile on my face because, you know, Move BR is a initiative, almost $1 billion project, as you said, that thankfully the citizens helped pass that additional tax so that we could address at least 70 projects over a period of years. And we're seeing the work. We're focused on transportation solutions, as you know, with Move BR, and we will see community enhancement. We will see our roads improve. Just last week, I believe, I was out near Glasgow and Hyacinth, where we have one of our new bike paths, and we are going to have bike paths, 65 additional miles of bike paths throughout the city and parish, as well as we're going to see 100 more miles of additional sidewalks. And look, neighborhoods crave sidewalks, and so we will see that happen as well. And so we have a targeted outreach in terms of making sure that we're engaging local businesses in this process as well. And so by the end of the year, I believe that you will certainly see, if the weather holds up,
because that's been a problem,
several more projects that will be completed. But this is going to be, you know, when we talk about 70 projects, when we talk about putting out bids and contractors and getting right-of-way acquisition, which is what we're going to be doing for the year. When we talk about, you know, the whole engineering and design process, it does take a while.
You know, we've talked a long time in this community about how bad the roads are and fixing traffic, and now we're really in that process of doing it. So on the other side of this, because I want to transition to this, well, before we transition, let's talk a little bit about litter in the city and what you're doing to address some of what we see along the roadways in the city of Baton Rouge and in the parish.
Well, my team has worked with the governor's task force on litter that was led by the governor and the lieutenant governor. And you might notice—
Kyle's got some video about some of the litter around here.
You might notice that we did a press conference recently at the Burden site where we saw that trash, and people had to literally go in and pick up this trash. We couldn't use a lot of machinery because of the location. So that was certainly a statewide elevation of Keep Louisiana Beautiful. So you'll see continuous work on that. But the mayor's office is getting ready to launch a task force, which you will hear about in the upcoming week, where we have already brought citizens together. We're going to be, once again, very strategic in terms of our approach. We've already picked up tons of litter, but you will hear a lot about what we are going to be doing as a city, a parish, and a community moving forward. And there's so many volunteer organizations out there who are committed to helping.
Boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground, keeping our community clean. It's a culture, Clay.
It is.
We got to change that culture.
It is, and that is a perfect segue to what we will talk about next. Talking with Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome. One more segment to go. Back in just a moment. Final segment with Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome. So, Mayor, this week I did a podcast with Stephen Wagaspack with the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, and we talked about what's going on across the state and what's happening specifically here in Baton Rouge. And he asked this question. He said, Baton Rouge, are you buying it or selling it? And I said, I'm buying it. And he said, why? I said, contrary to so many things that are said, most of us who are here, who have businesses here, whose families are here, are invested in where the community is going. We care about the city. Mm-hmm. And I think if we don't put boots on the ground, as you said, and address culture and really be about positive change and investment, then that says more about us than it does about the people watching us from the outside. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about Baton Rouge. And if Baton Rouge were an entity, I know you would buy it, obviously, but why?
So I bought Baton Rouge over 40 years ago when my parents relocated here. I became attached to the wonderful, rich, unique culture, mm-hmm. the wonderful people here, and unfortunately, too much food. So, those were the three. And I love, people complain about the hot weather. I love the hot weather here.
Well, you can have my share, okay?
Yeah. And so I will tell you, Clay, all communities have challenges. Mm-hmm. Listen, we're coming out, and still dealing with a pandemic, right. Unprecedented. Right. We're having weather events, unprecedented. So we're dealing with a season where things weren't like they were 20 and 30 years ago, but mm-hmm. we're addressing it, and we have a vision to move our city forward. I want to see our young people say, hey, Baton Rouge has bike lanes, we have entertainment, we have a great downtown, we have this, we have Southern University, we have LSU, we have BRCC, we have a lot of assets right. in our community. Right. And so, this is a place I want to raise my family. I have had conversations recently with young people, who said, hey, this is where I'm raising my family. I had a young lady that came in the office and said she had moved somewhere, came back to Baton Rouge. She wants to raise her family here. Mm-hmm. I met a couple at a restaurant recently. They were dropping their son off at LSU, and they were from the big city of Chicago. And so you know what they said? They said, we love this city. You have a great city here. And I'm like, could you put that on, record that here? And so, sometimes those of us here, we get blinded by the challenges and we don't see the opportunities and the assets. Mm-hmm. But we have a lot of positive things that are taking place, and I believe the best is yet to come. And that's not lip service. Yeah. We are being very intentional when it comes to helping infuse our entrepreneurial culture here. Mm-hmm. We have so many young people who are entrepreneurs and they want to develop their business. I had lunch this week, a breakfast with a couple, and they are so in tune to lifting up their business and being a part of Baton Rouge. And I believe there are hundreds of young couples like them who love Baton Rouge mm-hmm. and see it as a place where they can grow and thrive.
I love that. We got about 30 seconds here. Maybe the biggest college football game in the history of the city is a few weeks away, LSU versus Southern. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are this is a great unity event. Mm-hmm. I don't know what we're calling the title of this football experience, but who has two great universities like Southern and LSU and Southern that are coming together in the capital city? I will be there.
All right, I'll be there too. Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome, thank you so much for joining us, Mayor.
Thanks for having me.
See you next week on another edition of The Clay Young Show. Have a great weekend, y'all.